Hey guys, a week ago I revealed the Nokia 6 here discussing about its look and specifications. The one main jaw-dropping feature of the Nokia 6 is the 16 megapixel rear camera and 8 megapixel front camera. So in this video, you're going to find out whether both the cameras live up to the hype or not. The primary camera is a 16 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture, and the front camera is an 8 megapixel camera with the same aperture, but it has some low features when compared to the rear one. So now let's start off with the camera app. Even though the Nokia 6 runs the stock version of Android, it does not have the stock Android camera. The camera app is a tailored one with a few UI modifications. Let's talk about the 16 megapixel rear camera first. When it comes to focusing a subject, the autofocus of the 16 megapixel camera is on point. Even when the camera is moved fast, it gains focus to the subject with no stutters. Under auto mode, the camera captures images super fast. It takes no time to focus, it takes no time to snap images, which means you could capture images faster on the go. As I mentioned, the camera app is a custom one. This camera app has a mode switch with 3 basic modes. One is the normal photo capturing mode, the other one is the panorama mode, and the third one is the beauty mode. From a set of panorama images I shot previously, one thing I found out is that the app struggles in stitching the continuous shots together. And the quality of the panorama images is also not that great. The low quality image is just the case with the panorama mode. Under normal photo mode, the images are crispy. The 16 megapixel rear camera helps a lot with super sharp images. The image looks sharp even after cropping or zooming into it. This means that there won't be any noticeable quality loss when you are planning to crop a minimal portion of the image. The camera doesn't make any unwanted enhancements to the images like oversaturating or color correction or overexposing. Along with the photo mode and panorama mode, there is a third mode called as beauty mode. I switched to the beauty mode and tested it out, and I found that it is nothing special. It detects the lighting and adds a layer on top of the images to make it look extra smooth. This mode will not help you much under low light conditions, but it might help you under natural lighting conditions. Well, these are some of the images captured with the beauty mode turned on. Under normal daylight condition, it adds an enhancement layer to make the colors less saturated and less exposed. So if you capture a green leaf, then it looks a little yellowish with a layer of transparent white on top of it. This beauty mode reduces the sharpness of the images. As the images are less saturated and less sharper, it would work similar to those third-party beauty camera apps like UCam and other things. In auto shoot mode, you can manually modify 2 shooting factors. You can turn on or turn off the HDR mode, or you can turn on or turn off the flash. These 2 are the only customization options you get in auto mode. Turning on the HDR mode helps to shoot subjects under dynamic lighting conditions. The Nokia 6 struggles a bit with the HDR mode turned on. The camera lags while snapping the images, so even if there is minimal camera shake, then that would be recorded as a major motion blur in the output images. So you must have steady hands while shooting in HDR mode. But that lag doesn't compromise the quality of the image. The images has the same level of crispiness with additional lighting details. The camera is super sharp, which means it snaps every corner of the image without any loss. Even a speck of dust is visible clearly with no issues. These are the things you get out of the auto mode. But if you want the camera to be more flexible, then you gotta try the manual shooting mode. The manual shooting mode adds a few additional on-screen functionalities like different shooting modes, different focus modes, different exposure levels, and different white balance modes. The shooting mode has totally 3 modes: the auto mode, macro mode, and infinity mode. I always use the auto mode, but for making things simpler, you can change it. The macro mode is for snapping ultra close-up shots like a drop of water dripping from a leaf. The macro mode doesn't add anything to the camera, it just helps you to focus the image correctly to achieve a better macro shot. Here are some of the close-up shots with macro mode turned on. Under both natural and low light conditions, the macro mode works just fine. The same kind of sharpness and no quality loss with the images. Near the mode slider, you get another one for adjusting the exposure of the shot. If the exposure is set at level 0, then you need to touch the subject on the screen to adjust the exposure levels. If you think this is not enough for you, then the app lets you adjust it to 2 levels up and 2 levels down. If you find the image is overly exposed under auto exposure mode, then switching the level to -1 or -2 would help you gain a less noisy, less exposed shot. Next to the exposure slider, you get another slider for adjusting the white balance. This has a bunch of white balance filters to add a cool color tone or an yellow color tone or different colors of color tone to the images. Same as the exposure levels, you are the one who needs to choose the white balance mode for your shot. Here are some of the images I shot by playing with all the things in the manual mode. In highlighting conditions, like while shooting the clouds in the sky, reducing the exposure helped me to achieve a less noisy and a sharper shot. Increasing the exposure increased the image noise, so I recommend you to stay away from it unless you firmly need an extreme low light shot and can't use the flash at that time. The 16 megapixel front camera does a great job in capturing images, and I honestly say I'm not disappointed with its quality considering its price range. But the camera is not all good. It struggles a lot to shoot subjects with different glowing lights. If you want to snap, say, an image of Christmas lights or other fancy lights with HDR turned on, then I'm sure you are not gonna get what you expect out of it. The light from the source bleeds out everywhere, and I have tried it multiple times to capture the right image. All the shots were the same. And in the same low light conditions, the autofocus is also not that great. These two drawbacks might look like a negligible downside, but they're not. These are all the things I have about the rear camera, so now let's switch to the front selfie camera. The Nokia 6 has an 8 megapixel front camera, and it uses automatic face detection to automatically switch focus to your face without any hesitations. It focuses on nothing but your face when your face is the primary subject. Here are some of the sample images I shot using the front camera. The images under optimal lighting conditions are good and sharp, but it is a whole different story under abnormal lighting conditions. If the surrounding has too much of light to it or too less amount of light, then the front camera struggles a lot to maintain focus on your face, which results in a slightly blurred image and less sharper images. Apart from a few drawbacks, both the front camera and the rear camera works just fine for a mid-range smartphone. And now let's move to the video department. Both the rear camera and the front camera could capture videos in full HD 1080p mode at 30 fps. It does not have any optical image or electronic image stabilization to stabilize camera movements, so handheld videos while moving are more shaky. Even at those shaky situations, the autofocus works perfectly with no fault. The video shooting works good both in outdoor and indoor lighting conditions. Here is a quick unboxing video shot on Nokia 6 inside my studio. As this is a handheld footage, the video might look a little bit shaky. The rear camera video mode also supports slow motion videos. There is a noticeable quality loss on larger screen. Considering the resolution of the slow motion videos, it is acceptable. If you are a person looking for a mid-range smartphone within a 15,000 rupees price range, and if camera is your primary need, then I would definitely recommend the Nokia 6 for you. So if you want to take a look at all the images shown in this video, then the link is right there in the description. So that's all I have. The complete review video of the Nokia 6 will be uploaded within a few days, so stay tuned for that, stay subscribed for that, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll hopefully meet you guys and girls in the next one. Till then, it's bye bye from IT Assistors. Bye.